The British Columbia Institute of Technology acknowledges that our campuses are located on the unceded traditional territories of the Coast Salish nations of Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh.
Good afternoon. My name is Ava Boulay, and I'll be your host for your 3:30 headlines. The Lower Mainland is receiving over $1 million in federal funding to encourage electric vehicle adoption. Patrick McConnell has more.
BC is getting over $27 million from the federal government for electric vehicle infrastructure upgrades. The program is part of the federal government's electric vehicle strategy. Over $97 million look to push Canada towards 90% electric vehicle sales by 2040. But Mo Rabi of Vancouver Toyota says that electric vehicles still have an environmental impact.
If you really look at it, EV doesn't necessarily help the environment because still there is a battery, still that battery needs a mineral or whatever to make that battery. So it still is affecting the environment.
Patrick McConnell, BCIT News.
A dance group from Rwanda lights up the Vancouver Public Library as the group shares stories and songs in celebration of Black History Month. Our reporter Selena Texteria has more.
Indegamirgwa is a traditional dance group that performs across Vancouver. The goal of the dance is to share culture and uplift community, bringing Rwandan heritage to those in Canada. The group dances, sings, and plays drums in an open space, allowing for audience participation. Founder Angelique Mirherachehe speaks about staying connected to traditions.
It really encourages Black women to stay connected to their roots and culture, especially when they're in new spaces where they are not familiar, like coming or immigrating in places like Canada. There's a lot of culture shock that comes with it.
Black identity is an important focus for the women performing, sharing their dance with Canadians to enrich audience members in knowledge and storytelling. Selena Teixeira, BCIT News.
Capilano University hosted an African drumming workshop on Monday in hopes of educating and informing others on Black culture. As our reporter Braden explores, the guest drummer Edward Sambaya is passionate about teaching his culture through dance and music.
Edward Sambatia left his home country of Uganda in 2013 and has been traveling the world ever since. He says he has a passion for dance and music while also having a love for educating others about his tribe's history. Sambatia brings that creativity and hands-on teaching into his drumming workshops at Capilano University.
Because traditionally, knowledge was not written. Knowledge was orally transmitted. When I play the sounds of the drum, I'm not just playing rhythms, but I'm playing information.
The event was one of the many Black History Month programs that the university is offering during the month of February. Braden Coombs, BCIT News.
Emily Carr University hosted a performance last Monday in line with Black History Month as well, focusing on poetry and jazz to gain a deeper insight. Our reporter Gabrielle Ruiz spoke with the performance's main star.
Sonnet Labi, a professor from Vancouver Island University, is an award-winning poet and a lover of jazz. At the performance, they recited their own poetry and played their own songs, which all center around Black expression and history. They believe that making small change every day, like teaching others about their culture, can lead to bigger change in the long run.
I think if other people who have had similar experiences or feelings, can find themselves represented, then that's great. And if it also inspires other people to write their own stories, then that's great.
Their work has been internationally published, and many of their poems have been featured on literary journals and anthologies. Gabrielle Rui, BCIT News.
The Ministry of Children and Family Development announced new changes to funding systems that support youth with disabilities. Jeannie Lynn talks to parents about what they think of the changes.
In the next 2 years, parents of children with autism will see changes to how they receive funding. The Provincial Autism Direct Funding Program is slowly being phased out in favor of 2 new funding streams, Disability Benefit and Disability Supplement. Funding will be based on functional impact of the child and family income, rather than the child's diagnosis. Tara Steinberg is parent to an 11-year-old with autism. She talks about her apprehension to the new proposed changes.
Always. We are always worried about changes. Last time when they tried to implement the hubs, the parents protested for a year and a half. Parents, again, will have different issues because we are every single kid with autism is different. We're all going to have different issues. We all have different funding needs.
The ministry confirms that parents of children with autism will not lose access to funding, only changes to how they receive it. Jeannie Lin, BCIT News.
The Mackin House in Coquitlam celebrated the Lunar New Year last weekend. Our reporter Jenny Sung has more.
Families filled up the Mackin House in Coquitlam this past weekend for the Lunar New Year celebration, including cultural activities, local vendors, and more. Throughout this historic home, children moved through booths for each traditional activity. One vendor focused on children's books created to help young ones learn about Chinese culture and language through storytelling. Owner of Yuto Books, Evelyn, tells us more.
So I picked stories that are very engaging, and I tried to show the kids what are the different traditions that you have to do before, during, and after Chinese New Year, just to have some exposure.
Evelyn led a sing-along story gathering children on the floor while parents watched as kids sang along. The Mackin House's Lunar New Year brought learning, connection, and passing cultural traditions to the next generation. Jenny Sung for BCIT News.
TransLink recently released a survey for their Action Travel Plan. The project gave people a chance to express their opinion of current transit. Our reporter Clara Lawton has more on what the community thinks.
A nonprofit that advocates on behalf of transit users said that they are pleased that TransLink are doing this survey. Aman Chandy, the Director of Programs and Fundraising for Movement YVR, said that alongside TransLink's project, the organization has plans for a better commute.
One is to create new bus routes, and second is to expand bus infrastructure. And the third big change that we're proposing is improving pedestrian infrastructure.
Chandy adds that they will be happy to hear any experience from transit users. The details for this plan can be found at movementyvr.ca/STF. Clara Londo, BCIT News.
The Canada Border Service Agency says a foreign national has been arrested on drug charges after allegedly trying to smuggle a significant amount of methamphetamine through the Abbotsford border crossing. The agency says its officers examined a commercial vehicle returning to Canada from the United States last November, finding 12 boxes containing more than 300 kilograms of methamphetamine concealed within the truck and trailer. It says the discovery is marked the biggest narcotic seizure to date at the Abbotsford-Huntington part of the entry. The agency says that the driver has been transferred into the custody of the RCMP and has been since charged with possessing methamphetamine for the purposes of trafficking or importation into Canada. Today, Attorney General Nikki Sharma praised the Intimate Images of Protection Act, otherwise known as IIPA. However, as Aidan Singh reports, some researchers aren't sure if BC's privacy laws are prepared for the future of AI.
According to the province, the IIPA has resolved nearly 400 files since it began. Sharma claims the act provides, quote, some of the strongest protections in Canada, including AI-generated images. But some experts are still concerned. Bared Schwartz is an assistant professor at the University of British Columbia. She says anyone who has a photo of themselves on their account is at risk, and the tech is changing.
Like, technically, it's getting better and better. It's getting indistinguishable from real images or real videos.
Schwartz claimed in these situations, legislation often lags behind technical capability. Aidan Singh, BCIT News.
Moving on to sports, the legendary voice of the Vancouver Canucks has passed away at 91. Jib Robson was the play-by-play announcer for the Vancouver Canucks since 1970. Robson started his broadcast career at the age of 17, covering senior men's basketball for a radio station in Port Alberni. Robson later retired from the Canucks in 1999, but remained a fan and returned to Rogers Arena to support. A local pub is seeing significant benefits from its nearest NFL team playing in the Super Bowl. Reporter Elijah Ford was at the event to get the sense of the community built around the biggest game in North America.
Baseline's Pub in Surrey has been one of the city's most popular spots to watch the Super Bowl for more than a decade. The establishment draws a consistent NFL crowd throughout the year, which translates into large turnouts for the championship game. This year, however, with the Seattle Seahawks playing in the contest, seats were in the highest demand in the establishment's history. Baseline's owner, Craig Johnson, says reservations sold out within days of becoming available.
We opened it up and it was 2 days full completely, including the patio, and we warned them in case it's raining. You know, it can be pretty cold out even though it's covered, but they didn't care.
Johnson added Baselines began taking deposits this year to guarantee reservations, and all deposits were returned. Elijah Ford, BCIT News.
In celebration of that Super Bowl, the city of Seattle is inviting all fans to the Seahawk World Championship Parade on Wednesday the 14th. The trophy celebration will open at 8:30 a.m. at Lumen Field and continue throughout the morning in the city streets. The city is estimating between 750,000 to 1 million fans will attend. Moving on to our Olympic Canada hockey team, Canada women's hockey suffered its first defeat at the Milan Cortina Games today, falling 5-0 against the United States. American Hannah Bilka scored twice in the win, which pushed the U.S. to the top of the Group A, with 4 wins and no losses. Canada, playing without injured captain Marie-Philippe Poulin, falls to 2 wins and 1 loss ahead of Thursday's matchup against Finland. The Toronto Blue Jays are starting its spring training with some worrisome injuries. The team announced that its designated hitter Anthony Santander is scheduled to undergo left labral surgery and will miss 5 to 6 months. Bowen Francis is also missing the entirety of the 2026 season due to ulnar collateral ligament surgery. The Patriot quarterback Drake May is recovering from more than just the Sunday night Super Bowl loss to the Seattle Seahawks. May is recovering from a shoulder injury. May picked up the injury during the AFC Championship game against the Denver Broncos. Gen Z and Gen Alpha are creating new challenges and opportunities for sports leagues and teams. The NBA and the NHL are partnering directly with youth creators to speak to those audiences on their behalf. The NBA is even using AI tools to help identify the best partners. According to a Morning Consult poll, 20% of Gen Z adults identify as avid sports fans, compared to 33% of millennials and 27% of Generation X. 1/3 of Gen Z's correspondents said that they don't follow sports at all. Even among those who are fans, the touch points for teams and leagues are changing constantly. Those were your headlines at 3:30. Join us again tomorrow.
Stay tuned for more on BCIT's 1680 The Crow.
I would recommend this program for anyone that isn't sure what kind of job they want in media, because you learn everything from like public relations to communications to video editing, like radio, TV. So you do get a lot of experience in all the different fields in media.